Namaste and welcome to the 83rd episode of TeaTalk. म तपाईँहरूको साथी सिलु आजको यो स्पेशल डेमा सन्डे मर्निङ तर त्यसभन्दा माथि पनि आज फादर्स डे यस्तो स्पेशल डेमा मसँग एउटा यस्तो गेस्ट हुनुहुन्छ जसको बारेमा जसको परिचय दिन मसँग शब्दहरू पुग्दैन. To start in a simple way, he came as a F1 student, international student in the US. He completed his master's. He started working in an IT company as an employee, but later on, he became the owner of the same company, national level company. How cool it is that he writes his own paycheck. त्यति मात्र होइन बिजनेसको कुरा गर्दा he has couple business, multi-business, and he's the perfect example that who can prove us that it's possible to take business and a 9 to 5 job hand in hand together. So it's up to you how you manage your time. Not only that, today's Father's Day, he's a father of two amazing children, a husband who always gives time, best time to his wife, but more than anything, yeah, Texas Mabasta. He's that example, he's that inspiration, a person, a pillar who has always given, who has always taught me the value of family. रगतको नाता मात्र हुनु पर्दैन फ्यामिली हुनलाई. He is my brother, none other than Santosh Chaudhary. Not only that, he loves to dance. He makes TikToks. He sings. He's full of life. And it takes so much pride and joy and honor to welcome him on this very special day. TeaTalk. Yes, Buya Azawashina. Buya was very humble to meet him, and he was very happy that his only daughter, she's there in Texas, who has that loving brother and who has inspired her in many ways. Let me welcome my brother, Santosh Chaudhary. Namaste, Santosh. Welcome to TeaTalk.
Namaste. Thank you, Didi. Thank you for bringing me here.
As I was starting, I was falling short of words. चिनाउनलाई मलाई पुगि नै रहेको थिएन तर as it's a special day, Father's Day पनि हो, त्यही भएर let me start with that. Along with being a dad, a coolest dad who dances, sings, does everything to not only inspire but to motivate your kids. सबै हुँदा हुँदै पनि you wear multiple hats. You know? Tell us about yourself.
Okay, so as far as regarding wearing multiple hats, I can tell the audience, humans are built to wear multiple hats, and that starts from family.
Sure.
So whenever they're kids, they got to be better kids. Once they grow up, they're gonna be better, brother, sister, or friends. One day they can be better husband, wife, so on. The list will keep goes on. So basically, in the family itself, our family and the value that we have, it's trained to wear multiple hats. Okay. And so do I. And I don't think it's any different or any hard. As for regarding, yes, wearing multiple hats, it's, very motivating for me because the way I think is when you are a family, you are in the family or a business place, whatever you do, you got to do really well. And that's how I have always learned and implemented in my life. So it was not very hard for me to, whether, running a family, trying to be a good son, good husband, good dad. I also tried to be a good employee when I was working. And, I've done so much that working in a company from, smaller position to top of the company, I could able to do that. So, I can just simply say that, since I was trained from childhood, or anybody, as long as there's dedication, it's very handy and easy for them. The only thing is they got to give their 100%.
That's pretty powerful. So just to give 100%, but it starts with family. That is how you connected beautifully. And on this special occasion of Father's Day, I would like to congratulate you for being that father and also thank you for being that father who has inspired many.
Thank you, Didi. Thank you very much. And I'm very fortunate that I'm giving this interview with you and I'm talking on Father's Day. So I can only say for all of the children, they have to respect their parents. Respecting starts from home.
Right.
And when they go to their professional life, when they respect their seniors, they will get more opportunity and they will learn good.
Of course. Every day is a learning journey, right? So,
Exactly.
so tell us about that, some of the choices that you made in life. Because as far as I know that you also, like me, I mean, you have started as a F1 student and come into US and pursuing your degree and whatnot. But you, as you mentioned, I mean, you started as an employee, starting with a small position, but now you have risen to the biggest position. Not only that, you write your own paycheck, right? How cool is that? Right. So tell us about some of the choices in your life.
So, people make many choices in their life. So did I. I was going to college, not over here in US, even in, Nepal and India.
Mhm.
I was lucky enough to, go to Bangalore for my bachelor's degree.
Okay.
When I went there for civil engineering, but, I was very kind of fascinating guys. That means, whenever I see a good dresses and people are having fun, I'm lured to that way. And that's what happened to me. I was in my first year of college and I saw the kids from hotel and restaurant management. They are well dressed, white shirt, black pant, and tie. And in our engineering department, oh my God, they got the people have, studying all day long. And I'm the same way. I'm no different than any kids. So I liked it. And I decided to switch my career. And
Okay.
that's how I ended up going to hotel and restaurant management. I got my bachelor's from there. I came to Nepal and I started working as a demi safety party. It's basically a management training for the safe.
Okay.
And as I'm telling my audience, I know how to cook because I did go for culinary cooking,
Good.
even
Yeah.
though I'm not cooking lately. But yes, I did that. And then while I was working, I always had a dream of coming to US.
Right.
And that's when I started exploring. Finally, I got a chance and I came to US as F1 status in Hawaii. That's why you have my background of, the
How
ocean and
lovely
all
is
those
that?
things.
I got that feel. Yeah.
So I was there and when I came here, I came for MBA in tourism management. But
Interesting.
after coming here, I couldn't able to afford. It's not like my family couldn't afford, but my dad was not allowing me, lots of money. And I had to, find my way to pay my school. On that hunt, I started talking to a few people here in mainland, which is basically where we are at this moment.
Mhm.
And there is a person, Suman Nepal.
Okay.
He's my villagers who helped me to move to Dallas. And that's when I came to Dallas, and I was going for still MBA, but at that time uh, there was a very big in the computer world. And
Okay.
that's when I met a lot of Indians and people from other country that they came to this country with not even a bachelor's degree, 6 months to 1 year of IT courses, and they're making a bunch of money. And that's what drove me to change my career from hotel to computer sector. And then since I had a hotel management, of course, I had to do bachelor's again over here in this country. And I did, bachelor's in information technology. And then I did my MBA on strategic leadership. So yes, I came here as F1 and I worked myself to get my master's and I started working in a company. As you mentioned, I started in a small cubicle just as a small developer in a company. But again, I am the person who always see how this happening. It's not only what I do, what I'm supposed to do, but entire domain, how this entire domain is working. And you can say this is a bad habit or good habit, but I think it's good because that's what brings me to from small developer to manager to CIO to CEO. 16 years later, I end up buying the company that I was working for. So I
That's
can say everyone.
hats off to you. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, this is how my journey became what I am today. But again, I can always tell the young people that whatever they do, they got to do well. And if they have a dedication, I think they will make it. All the younger people are very, very smarter. In fact, they are 10 times or maybe 100 times smarter than us.
And Santosh, at this moment, we are only addressing one part of what you do still,
Mhm.
right? Because when you started with, like, from that point one to the top level and giving 100%, you are only addressing one side of it. And I don't know how you do it. And only Santosh Chaudhary can do it, because in all of us have 24 hours, right? But you are the one, a perfect example, a lived example that I have seen and I have been inspired, that who can do the 9 to 5 job, continuing being a father, a husband, but at the same time, who has ample time out of that 24 hours to run his business, enhance his business, and maintain multiple business. So tell us about that side.
So again, I did say one part, how I came, what I did, and where I am at this moment. But on the side, I have always done some businesses that came to came to in my life for granted, I can say. So when I came here, I was going to school, and as you know, everybody has to work to pay their tuition fees. So I was working in a gas station. I mean, I'm talking about in 1997 to up until now. I still have some stores. But when I was working in the gas stations initially in 97, I always have a eager to do. I'm not a kind of person that, you know, like to work for somebody else. I always think of a business, how the business can be mine and those kind of things. And that is the one reason I could able to, acquire my company where I was working. And it happened same thing with the gas station too. So I started working in a gas station, but as you know, I told you I'm a culinary cooking guy. I know how to cook, and there were a lot of customers who had restaurants. So the guys were coming as my customer, and I was, I'm a person who likes to talk, and was talking to him. And he said, "Hey, I have a restaurant." And I said, "What do you cook?" And he said, he cooks steak and basically, hamburger and those kind of stuff. By the way, I did my culinary cooking in continental cooking, not Indian cooking. So that means I know pretty much all, continental cooking, from steak to pasta, pizza, donuts, you just name it. So my interest was always there on that. And then when he came, at that time, I think I was getting $5.25 an hour. And he came suddenly, yeah, and he told me, "Look, do you know how to cook all of this?" And I said, "Yes." And he offered me $11 per hour in 1999. And that's when I started working for him. And again, my goal here, even now, so what I tried to do is I just took over all of the tasks. And I always wanted to be a good employee. And the symptom of good employee is only two things. One, let your manager or make your manager lazy. You do all the work for him. That way you're going to last long. Second, try to make money for the company. If you're not making money from your task, then you're not a good employee. And those two things I did really well. I drugged him, and he quit coming to the store because he totally depended upon me. Once it happens, I offered him, "Hey, look, let's open another location. I'm going to run it and make me a partner." And that's what he did. He opened another store. He made me a partner. And then suddenly, he became greedy and he wanted to keep all the money. And I decided to quit for him. So once I quit, I spoke to my, whatever the connection I had at the time, of course, my professor. And he helped me to open a location. And 99 is the first year that I opened a restaurant myself. And I was doing a business there. I made money, and then I started investing again. Whatever the money I have always invested. I don't keep money on my bank, and that is what I want to share with the young people. Use your leverage. You guys are smart, as I told you, 100 times smarter. When you have a bachelor's degree, you end up making 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, whatever. Okay. And then whatever money that you have, and if you have a surplus money, try to use your paycheck leverage, buy something, finance it, pay the mortgage. By the time you reach, 5 years of your investment, the money will grow by itself. So that's what I did. And I do have a lot of rental properties. I have a bunch of land that I have bought, and I am doing fairly good.
See, we are talking about numbers here. And you are sharing us a story that was back to 23 years ago, right? Almost
3 years
23
ago.
years ago. And
Yes.
we are talking about time that is 24 hours in a day, right? So, and in this 24 hours, the amount of work you do and the areas that you cover, those seem pretty like I am possible for you, but impossible for many. I can say that, right? So it's the same thing,
It's
right?
true. That's
They're
true.
possible, I am possible. And how do you make that impossible into I am possible? Because as I said, that only Santos can do it. So how do you manage your work life versus uh, family life or personal life?
Yeah, very good question, Siludi. But I can tell you, and I have never told this to my family, and I'm going to tell how I have been doing. It's very ashamed sometimes. I know I'm really busy working basically 18 hours. I want my 6 hours of sleep, but my wife is very helpful on that. And she could able to take care of my family, which is stronger or more difficult than going and doing a job and making money. So she is basically a head of a household for in my family to take care of the kids. I don't know, I don't remember when did I go to the last time in grocery store to buy the grocery. My wife spent full time doing that. And yes, sometimes they complain that I'm working too much. But I still manage to have a time as me, whenever I spend time with family, at the time I cut off everything. So, I mean, I'm a kind of person, I do multiple things, but I do one at a time. I can't do two things together. So when I'm with my family, I'm with my family. I want to give 100%. So with 100% of 1 hour versus 3 hours, with multiple thing on your brain, I think that helps me cover that family time. One other important thing is, in the evening time, 8 or 9 or maybe 10 o'clock, I have a habit of opening a computer, and my wife may not like that. So at that time, I had a trick. I go and open the computer and come downstairs right away for 20, 30 minutes just to show my face and say hello. And then, basically I try to, steal some time and I sleep. But most of the time, how I covered is, I sleep, I go to bed around, 10 o'clock, wake up at 4:30 every morning. And it is very beneficial. And this is what I want to tell to the young generation. And the way that I have learned this is generally all the people who is in the top position, they are pretty much, in their 30 or 40s. All of these people wake up 4 or 5 in the morning. They do all of the checking the email, sense the email. What I have experienced in my past, when I was sending them an email in the daytime, I don't get response. And maybe that email get buried in multiple emails that they received.
Right.
So I tried it in the morning, 4:30 in the morning or 5 a.m. in the morning. The moment I sent the email, they send me back the response. So I didn't have to wait for 2 days. So
Wow.
that was one of those things that I have done. And this one I learned from my dad because, he has always told me, if you don't wake up in the morning, you're going to miss everything in your life, which I learned. I was not listening at the time as any other kids. I didn't like it. My dad, basically dragged me to hear Voice of America when I was in Nepal. I never liked it, but now I realize why he was telling me that. So all of this, the only thing I can tell guys, go to bed, have, play a computer game if you want to, but go to bed in time, wake up early in the morning. Trust me, you will be very successful. And that's what I manage my family time.
What's an amazing thing you shared. And being a morning person myself, being an early bird myself, I do totally, agree with that. But at the same time, one thing I must have to learn from you as well is I have to maintain the habit of going to bed early as well. And that gets me to the other point, right? So how do you make yourself, keep yourself fit and fine? Because I have not only seen you managing all your like professional work and whatnot, but at the same time you play sports too, you have time to go to gym too. So how do you balance your health and body, I would say, because that is one of the main factor as well. And being a culinary person, I mean, if he has art on that too. So how do you manage all this? What is your tips for others?
First of all, thank you for telling me that I'm healthy. I try to be, but I am not. I'm overweight. But yeah, one thing is, I like to play. I mean, if I get a chance, I go and play. I play whether tennis, soccer, I do a lot of bike riding. But there are certain things that I never liked. It's like, when the kids doesn't want to go to school, if they don't want to go, they want to cry. It's the same thing for me. But I forced myself to do that. The only reason that is, I wanted to have no pain in the daytime. So I want to basically do the, some kind of work in the morning or in the evening so I can become fit. But yeah, I mean, that, I love dancing. I know I dance, that's another way of making yourself very active. I am not very good on gym, but I try to go that route as well. But mostly, playing and bike riding and, just walking, that's how I could able to manage my health so far.
Talking about dance, I mean, I have always seen and been very much inspired by you as a most colorful person, because not only dance, and you are this like trending TikTok. I mean, you are super good at that. So, how do you like? What interests you? What motivates you every day? And I'm total amazed to see how beautiful you make. And how can a CEO Santosh, a business person Santosh, be such good at TikTok? Tell us about that.
So there, one thing I can share with my audience here today, I mean, social media is very powerful, platform. I have a Facebook account, and your husband opened that account for me. I never logged in on that account. I don't even know my password. So I don't go to Facebook, I don't go to Instagram and so on. Okay. The only reason I like TikTok, because when TikTok came, you can dance. It's very short, 30 seconds, maybe a minute max. And if there would be no dance on TikTok, or, it doesn't, it's not reflect your personality, I would never go. So
Okay.
that is why, I like TikTok, because it's a dancing platform for me. And, I love to dance. And I learned it, when I was kids. It doesn't matter whose marriage is that, who Janti is going. I just get into that and I dance. Sometimes they throw me out. It doesn't matter. I just dance. So when I started here in Denton area, I'm from Denton, and it was not accepted. I'm talking about 15, 16 years ago. It was not accepted at that time. Okay. And people thinks it's weird. I have heard that comments from many people.
Is that right?
I just ignored them. But think this way, 15 or 16 years later, even they're dancing. They barely know a step and they're coming for dance. Think this way. I see lately all of this, whatever it's called, 25th years of anniversary of their marriage. It doesn't matter. It become a fashion lately. Husband, wife dance, whatever they know. So, it's a thing that, I had in me, and I'm really glad that it's been accepted very well lately, and I'm there.
Wow. See, keep doing what you love to do, right? That's
Exactly.
an example. Wonderful. So, what are some of the other hobbies you have beside all this? Because every time you surprise me with a new thing. So, if there would be like time and money won't be issue, because you have time as issue, right? Because 24 hours, you are handling all those things. So, if time and money are not the issue, what is one thing Santosh Chaudhary would like to do, whether in Nepal, US, or wherever, any part of the world?
So as for regarding the pleasure, I would love to go to many places. I like uh, the ocean and myself. I just want my time to be there. I have tried a few times. I loved it, but not on the thought that I had. I have a dream of going into bank of the ocean and maybe walk 2, 3, 4 miles with one chair and bottle of water and maybe book. As you know, I'm not a good reader, but I'm going to read that day. The only reason I want to know myself. I just want the bird sound, no people, just want to be myself there. And I want to see if I can, you know, identify myself. I don't know. Sometimes, I feel like I am in all of this big crowd because of my job and work. But that's one thing that I would like to go and do. And maybe, I have a dream to visit all of the continent in the world. So that's, of course, it's on my to-do list, and now I'm in that position that I could do because my kids went to college. So definitely, I would like to do that. As far as regarding Nepal, I want to go there and help Nepalese people, whatever way I can, not by money. I always believe on if I give money, they will just spend that money and they will have nothing after that.
Right.
So in a participation basis, if they would like to participate on it, whether it's a 5 rupees or 10 rupees, doesn't matter. As long as they're doing it. And, that's one thing that, I have since I was born in Nepal. I would like to do something for my country.
Of course, how powerful. And first of all, I can see you going to the beach there with a chair. And I'm glad you mentioned book because you and I have always the conversation that, okay, no book, but I'm glad. And yes, finding that time, that is definitely uh, not only need, but to give back to others as well, right? Out of
Exactly.
and whatnot. So that's great. So tell me, I mean, you have been like in throughout the conversation, you have given like this tip and that tip to the young generation, which are very helpful. But at the same time, what would be your advice to the young generation who are kind of debating whether to choose like be their own boss? I want to start business, or maybe I'm not that good enough yet. So let me join the job force. So what are some of your suggestions for the youngsters, like the millennials and the Y generation or what?
Definitely, definitely. Okay, so all the young people who recently pass out from their college or they are there in their first or second year of their job, first thing is they need to go and work for some company, bigger company, smaller company, doesn't matter, corporate America basically,
Sure.
and learn the culture. While they are working there, I would like them to use the leverage and always think about why somebody else signing their paycheck. I'm a very big believer of signing my own paycheck. If you have that in your mind, you always think of how I can able to, sign my own paycheck. That means thinking about some businesses. It doesn't mean you're going to quit the job, but think something on side, whether it's small, just try to make $10, doesn't matter. Invest money. I'm not talking about investing on stock because I don't do it myself that way as well. I'm talking about, let's say that you have a job. Your need was maybe $1,500 a month whenever you're in school or college.
Right.
Now you're making 50 or 60K. What you're doing with your rest of the money? Save those money, buy something, buy a house. Who cares? Buy the house, pay the mortgage, or buy just flat raw land. And whatever your surplus money, just keep paying the payments. Of course, you wanna learn and work. That means you don't have much time to do a lot of small retail thing. I would never recommend that. Whatever your life, whatever that you are working on, try to think of some kind of business on that area. If you think now, maybe 3 to 4 years from now, you're going to have your own business. God made you so smart. That's why you studied bachelor's degree. That's why you had a job. That's why you have 2 hands and 2 legs. Think that way, that you're fortunate enough to have everything. How you can help others. Helping others means basically creating a job. When you create a job for them, that means you have a business. If you have a business, you're going to make money. Plain and simple. That's what I can tell for all the younger kids. And
What about to the parents? Because in some way, I mean, like as you gave the example of your father himself, I mean, they have some expectation. I mean, traditionally, fathers or parents back in Nepal or here, they have kind of expectation. Their kids go take the STEM route, right? doctor, engineer, lawyers, and whatnot.
Mhm.
Right? But now business is an attraction. But as a parents, what would be your suggestion to the other parents who are kind of interfering, inspiring, or kind of pushing their kids to follow one area versus other? So, what do you think as a father yourself?
So I can tell all the parents, or even me, I have not forced my kids to do, what I have in my mind. Of course, I shared with them, hey, if you do this one, it has a really good market. But again, at the end of the day, they are the one who is going to do that. And it's already happened in my life. I chose to go to the, hotel and restaurant business or management kind of deal and end up going computer. So I don't want them to repeat the same thing if they're not interested in what their parents is asking them to do.
Right.
The only one thing I can recommend to them is to see what is the strength of your kids. Try to do the SWOT analysis. What is their strength? What they like the most? Sometimes the kids like all these funny things like band, dancing course, acting courses. Yeah, let them explore it, but tell them, your job is to just educate them, but your job is not to decide for them.
Of course.
Okay. So let them make a decision. And again, it's not end of the world. As long as you have a bachelor's degree from US or any other country, you're educated basically. You're going to find your way out. None of the courses will be utilized in your professional work. Degree is just the foundation.
Yes.
So that's all I can say. Let them decide what they want to do and help them whatever they want.
Of course, definitely. And you have been that example yourself. And yeah, that's sharing coming from you to others. That's really is meaningful. Thank you for sharing that. We are almost at the end of the tea talk. And is there anything that I forgot to ask you and you would like to add on this platform?
First of all, I can only say that, whatever that you're doing, it's very powerful. I mean, I just came to know even my ex company, basically, the company that I deal with, who are very, very big in this country for that industry. They started doing this podcast, and suddenly I heard that you are doing it. So, I mean, this is not only giving a platform for people to, see or listen to somebody and share, hear this experience, but it's also, gives everybody, hey, there is some kind of platform, how they can able to, wherever they're working, how they can able to make their company very popular, or how they're going to bring their company in front of the people. So this is what I can tell you. And the only thing I have already mentioned, wherever you're working, try to make the money for that company. Create the value, create who you are, create the value, that means the company will depend on. That's all I can say. And I think it's really nice talking to you. And I'm glad that you gave me this platform to speak for a few minutes.
Thank you so much. And not only that, at the last way of like introducing you, I mentioned that you are that mentor, not only that mentor, but someone who has been a living example, a very vivid example that family is he who stands by her or him whenever there is need. And it's not only the relation of blood, but the presence of heart and mind that makes a family. And I'm very proud to say that we are brother from another mother, right? So it's my blessing to have you in my life. I would like to say on this platform. And not only that, on this occasion of Father's Day, I would like to wish you a very special Father's Day and be who you are. Keep inspiring. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you, Didi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.